This is the Lucid Air. It's a brand new car from a brand new company. Built in a shiny new factory in Arizona, and it's all electric. It goes fast, far, and it is beautiful. And we get to drive it here on Driving the Nation.
So I'm Justin Berkowitz, and I'm the technology PR lead for Lucid, and we're in the Lucid Air Dream Edition.
First of all, the first thing about it is it's a completely different look for any dashboard, I guess you'd call it, than I've seen.
Yeah, so it features this is a 34-inch, they call floating glass cockpit display, and we have down here a pilot panel. This actually, if I press and hold, opens for storage.
Wow, so that's storage in there.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
So
steering wheel and mirrors.
And it's up or down, so I'm going to go out a little. Yeah, it's coming out nice and quiet, nice and smooth. This is a full glass roof that is not interrupted.
We call this a glass canopy roof. The tint in here blocks out essentially all, as close as you can get to all UVA and UVB. And
wow.
It's essentially the same standard as you'd find with high-end sunglasses, and 92% of visible light. It's also thermally insulated to block out infrared, so it keeps the cabin at a constant temperature. You know, you're not cooking.
How cool! I
like that.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have 3 driving modes in this car. We're in the middle of the 3. They get progressively more sporty. This is the Dream Performance, so it has up to 1,111 horsepower.
Is that okay? Only 1,100 horsepower. Look out!
And in this driving mode that we're in, we actually aren't even accessing that full 1,100.
Nope.
But still, you got a lot of juice.
That is serious power. We're gonna have to test out the upper end, but right now I got to get used to the lower, the middle, right? The middle.
You bet, yeah.
And so, where is that all?
Oh, I'm happy to help you with that.
No,
too.
that's fine. Let's.
So yeah, we're in the middle mode. Let's go to Sprint. Sprint is our most sporty oriented setting.
Sprint is a very good description of it. Hi.
So in addition to getting, the most powerful setting for the motors and the drive unit, you're also going to get a more aggressive stability control profile. It allows you to play with the vehicle a little bit more, closer to its limits.
Man, that is quick. I'm losing my hat. All right, let's go back to normal, or Swift. Okay, Eco is this one, or
Smooth is your standard mode, yeah.
Smooth is standard, okay. Now that's a standard, powerful EV, I would say. It's not even like, ID4, it's higher than that. But it's just like the race horses are being held back a little bit. Incredible design. It's floating, what do you call it?
The glass cockpit, they call it.
Floating glass cockpit. Yeah, so that's fun. Yeah, that's a fun EV right there, and that's the smooth mode. And really got to keep your eye out or keep your eye on the speed, because it is very deceiving. How many miles on a charge? What's the range?
So for the versions of the Lucid Air we currently are delivering to customers, you get anywhere from, in the vehicle we're in, which is our most powerful model, with the biggest possible wheels, that's 451 miles of range on the EPA cycle, which is 10% more than the next best thing from any other company. That is right now the kind of, let's say, lower end of the Lucid range possibilities. We also have the Lucid Air Dream Edition range version, which goes up to 520 miles per charge.
And it's got, what, a larger battery? Is that the difference?
The battery pack is actually the same size in this, but the orientation of the car, the way it's set up, the way that the powertrain is optimized, is more skewed towards range, whereas this really leans more heavily on performance. And I should say that that range model still offers 933 horsepower.
Wow. So that's an upper level. So in the meantime, this is 451.
Yeah.
451. Wow.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Wow. Woo! Wow. 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 These G-forces are crazy. Do you have any G-force ratings? Like, what does that do to you? Any idea?
Yeah, I don't know if we have a formal measurement for that, but it definitely throws you in your seat.
Saturn V rocket. Ah! Wow. That's impressive. And I noticed that I'm driving, you do have clearly regenerative braking, I guess, by not.
We do,
Yeah.
and that's actually adjustable. So right now you have the higher mode of regenerative braking, or aggressive.
Okay.
I've just moved you down to standard.
Oh,
and you'll
I
see it is not as aggressive in recouping that energy.
Not nearly, yeah. Now you can feel it, but it's a nice drop off when you let go of the accelerator, but it's not a drag like the other one is. And then again, that regen braking really helps on these curves. You don't have to go from pedal to brake. You will be regenning with that. And then how do I set that again to change it?
So you just press and hold on the drive mode, and this option comes up.
And then that's much more aggressive regen.
Exactly. This is the fastest charging EV on the market.
Really?
It is, yes. So that's partly because we have proprietary 900 plus volt electrical architecture. We have very special proprietary components on board for that charging. So we can hit peak speeds of charging or power level of up to over 300 kilowatts, potentially even up to 350 kilowatts. But that's just peak speed. One way we like to look at it is to say you can add about 300 miles of range in about 20 minutes, maybe 21 minutes of charging. If your battery is quite depleted, if you're close to zero, you could add 100 miles of charging in 5 minutes.
Wow. Which is amazing. I mean, that's, filling up your gas tank and you're getting 100 miles, but that'll get you to where you need to go.
Certainly would, yeah. And for a couple minutes more, you're closer to 200 and even 300 miles.
And that's all because of the design of the battery.
So it's a combination of factors. The vehicle has been designed, first of all, as a totally clean sheet, which means there's no compromise made to allow for a combustion engine. It's incredibly aerodynamic. It has one of the lowest coefficient of drag ratings for any car on the market. But in addition to that, it has a smaller frontal surface area than other very efficient aerodynamic vehicles. So we're really losing very little to drag. We have also developed in-house our own motors and our own motor technology that we've designed and engineered, we've developed and tested, we manufacture ourselves. Very lightweight, very powerful, and very energy efficient. All of which combines to give really good efficiency. So for Lucid, the range and charging, it's partly due to a substantial battery pack, but it's also because we use the electricity, the energy in that battery pack more efficiently. On the Lucid Air Grand Touring model, for example, which has a range of 516 miles, it averages out to 4.6 miles that you can drive for every kilowatt hour of space in that battery pack. Way more than anything else on the market, and the consequence is, yes, we can offer really big range numbers, but we could offer a comparable range to a lot of the other vehicles out there with a much smaller pack, and that's really what gives you that opportunity.
Wow. So it's really that ground up, starting from scratch, designing every aspect of the vehicle.
Absolutely.
With the thought towards increasing range, speed of charging, and efficiency.
Efficiency overall, yeah. It's really the key. If you can be more efficient, then you can make better use of whatever the battery pack is, no matter what. And that has other benefits too. You know, it means you can save weight, you save on manufacturing cost, you save on raw materials that you need. You don't need as much raw materials to make the vehicle because it's lighter and more efficient.
Interesting. And all built in Arizona.
Built in Arizona, Casa Grande, Arizona. It's the first greenfield EV factory in the U.S.
And when you say greenfield, what does that mean?
That means it's not adapting an existing automotive plant or factory. It's not taking over something that was used to make cars before. It's a new construction and built just for Lucid to be building EVs.
Wow.
In addition to the factory in Arizona, we have our headquarters in Newark, California, so just on the east side of the bay. That's where all the R&D work is done. It's where all the engineers are. It's where all the sales and marketing folks are. And it's our corporate headquarters.
And what brought you to Lucid, if you don't mind me asking?
It's such an exciting company, and the opportunity to be part of actually building this and be involved in the early days, these early phases. I mean, the company goes back a number of years, but in that they weren't quite on the market yet when I joined. It was really exciting, and I was just so blown away by the product that I thought, God, if I can.
Before it was ever built, you were blown away by the
prototypes that they had out there, the specifications. When I got to learn more about it, that I thought this is really revolutionary. It's like next generation technology, and I wanted to be part of that.
And I imagine it is different than the traditional car company structure, corporate structure, or development structure.
It is quite different, yeah. And in some key ways. I mean, one of them is there's a lot more integration of different parts of the company than you find in most other car brands, car manufacturers. So our design team and our engineers sit close together and they work on a daily basis collaboratively as they make decisions about vehicle design, about interior design, about what moving a wheel a certain distance in the design is going to do to interior space, to the suspension. Often these things go through very long processes at a traditional company. They have a kind of a formal get-together, but this daily give and take is really quite rare. And the same goes for software. We have really significant in-house software capability. Our head of digital spent 17 years at Apple running major projects, including the first iMac and Wi-Fi. So he brings in an integrated hardware and software perspective from a company that's really good at marrying the two. And so he's also very deeply involved, especially because in this car, software controls not just what you see on the screen, but how the motors operate, the battery profile, the charging, and loads of electromechanical things in the vehicle. So we can make, as an over-the-air update, we can make a lot of enhancements, add new features, bug fixes, all kinds of stuff based on consumer feedback, based on what our owners tell us about the car, and what we want to do. It also means we can add great new features over the air. The U.S. is changing its regulation for headlights to allow what they call adaptive driving beam headlights. This is similar to what's been in Europe for a couple of years. Headlights that are really smart. They can dim out just little individual areas, so you can have your headlights on at night, and you don't blind a pedestrian, but it keeps on the bright headlights and the low beam everywhere else, just not in that person's eyes. So we're going to allow them in the U.S., and for a traditional car company, that means you'd have to make a change at the factory and how the headlights are built, because Lucid's headlights are very advanced. They're solid state. There's nothing that moves inside them. They are very precisely controlled digitally. We can introduce that feature by sending out an update remotely, and one day it would be on the cars.
Wow, so very quickly, as opposed to putting it into the design process or the research and design and have it come...
And a lengthy production cycle, yep.
After a day of experiencing the Lucid Air Dream Performance vehicle, we got to hear from some of the designers of this beautiful sedan at a panel discussion where they talked about the importance of working in a collaborative environment with engineers and technicians to ensure that the completed vehicle excels in delivering top performance as well as stunning styling.